Yeah.
It goes.
Man, yes it does. Hey guys, came to Santa Cruz and I'm here with Cody from Land Bikes. What do you guys officially call yourself?
I like the term e-moto. I think
E-moto.
what we call ourselves is part of the story, but we can get there. How's that?
I like it. So I flew out to California to review this just beautiful looking bike. Tell me about Land and kind of what you guys were thinking when you designed this.
Really, we were thinking about kind of creating a new niche that sits in between e-bikes and electric motorcycles. That's a big part of the reason why we've sort of like coined this phrase e-moto. I think what we've done with the Land Moto is we've developed something that is really approachable to new riders, not just in our form factor and our size, but also in the way the software controls the bike and our different ride modes. One thing that's very unique about Land is we have 4 different ride modes that you can graduate up and through as you become a better rider.
Run through those 4 modes.
Yep, so mode 1 is like an e-bike mode with a top speed of 28 miles an hour.
Okay.
Mode 2 is, it's tuned like you would tune like a 50cc moped. So the top speed is 38 miles an hour and the torque is about half the potential torque. Modes 3 and 4 are what we call our e-moto modes, and that's where you get your top speeds of 70 miles an hour plus. They have tons of torque. Our mode 4 is like a ludicrous mode in a Tesla.
Any mode that starts with ludicrous is a good mode.
There you go. Yep, and the performance is really here. I mean, it's mind-blowing the first time you get on these things and ride.
It is, and we came from your house down here, which is about a mile away, and I'm already in love with it. You said that this is kind of an introductory to someone like me who doesn't have a ton of motorcycle experience. Explain more about that. Like, why is it an easy transition for somebody going from an e-bike to a motorcycle?
One, it's a lot less complicated in the fact that you don't have to worry about shifting gears, you don't have to worry about all the maintenance. Also, just the size, it's very low center of gravity, and a lot of shorter riders are able to put their feet and touch the ground. So I think it's a good size for new riders. But on top of that, I think a lot of it was what I was talking about with the tuning and the software. In modes 3 and 4, the torque is really, it's unbelievable. I mean, it really kicks. And I wouldn't necessarily want to put a brand new rider on a motorcycle with that much power. And that's what you have to do when you're talking about gasoline combustion motorcycles, right? But because with the software we can tune it down, in mode 1, the torque is virtually non-existent. I feel totally comfortable putting brand new riders on the motorcycle. The top speed's tuned down to 28 miles an hour. And because of that, I think that it really is going to attract a new rider. And also, just to touch on something you said to me, and you said to me as we were riding over, when you said, hey, look, it's just such a nice ride. It feels really grounded, I think you said.
Yeah.
We hear that all the time. And I think a lot of that comes from folks that are going back and forth between like an e-bike and what we have here is an e-moto. When you're used to riding an e-bike, a lot of these e-bikes, yes, they do 20 miles an hour. Yes, some of them go much faster. But when you're riding and you have that, you know, that non-automotive grade suspension, all the other components, you don't necessarily realize how vulnerable, how unplanted you feel until you get on an automotive grade product. And that's what our e-motos are. And although we only rode over here, I don't think we broke like the 30 mile an hour per hour limit the whole time. You felt planted, you felt safe.
Yeah.
And the feeling you get going from e-bike to a Land Moto, it's even much more apparent when you go from the e-moto back to your e-bike and you start doing 30 miles an hour. You realize how stable and how comfortable you felt on a product that's actually built for those sort of speeds.
Yeah.
So I think that's a great point you made.
The weight of a motorcycle is how much? Typically?
So yeah, if we were talking about like a 400cc kind of run around Scrambler motorcycle like this, a gas combustion motorcycle, you're talking about a motorcycle that's 350, 450 pounds.
Wow.
Right?
And that can be intimidating to a person who is just, you know, wants to transition from an e-bike that's around 70 pounds to something much bigger, which is around 400 pounds.
Exactly, yep. But with the Land, even with our largest battery, you're talking about around 220 pounds. And if you get one of our smaller batteries, that takes the weight to under 200 pounds. And so not only does that make it comfortable for new riders, that also makes the weight to power ratio an extremely important part of the conversation, especially when you're comparing products like this spec for spec with horsepower, with not only gas combustion motorcycles, but also other electric motorcycles, right? Because we are much lighter, and with the same specs, we're giving you a lot more performance.
Yeah.
Yep. All of the controls you see here are just very similar to normal motorcycle controls. You have your kill switch to turn it on and off. You've got your throttle, lights. These are for turning on and off your high beams, blinkers, horn, etc. What's different on the land is we've taken the start button here where you traditionally push to start the motorcycle, and this is the way you're going to cycle modes. But before we do that, let me show you a little bit about the startup procedure because I think it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So once you do a combination of the following three things, you turn the key on, you turn off the kill switch, and you put up the kickstand, we're gonna get an audible and haptic feedback. We can hear it and we can feel it. That audible feedback's not with a speaker. We're actually doing it with an electric pulse to the motor. And so if you have a helmet on, if there's a lot of noise, not only will you hear it, but you'll feel it. You're gonna know the motorcycle's live.
Yeah.
And normally a gas motorcycle, it's gonna rumble and make noise, right? So we know the motorcycle's live. So if you wanna get a little closer here, you can see I put up the kickstand. You can hear it.
Okay.
Okay, and like I said, I could also feel it because that's an electric pulse and the motor's pulsing, moving.
Which is nice because the helmet that I had on, it cuts off your hearing quite a bit.
It does,
So-
yeah, and you can be, there can be other automobiles around you making a bunch of noise.
Okay.
Okay, from here, like I said, normal motorcycle functionality. One important thing to remember when you're coming from an e-bike is that by law, motorcycles need to have the front brake right here on the right. Okay, and so therefore, our rear brake is right here on the left, so opposite of a bicycle. This comes with our performance pack. So you've got Magura brakes here, you've got Domino throttle, we've got the Fox air shock in the back, but this is our performance model. And again, just all kind of top quality components, just like all the stuff we designed in-house. But now the motorcycle's live. In order to switch modes, I'm gonna press the button here. We're gonna get that audible feedback to let us know it's switching modes. Mode 1, virtually no torque, top speed of 28 miles an hour.
Okay. E-bike mode is that one, right?
E-bike mode, yep, we're gonna call this moped mode, right? That's a top speed of 38 miles an hour and virtually, about half the potential torque.
Okay.
And then mode 3 and 4 are your motorcycle modes. As I'm sitting here, you're gonna hear that tone every 9 seconds. It's gonna beep at us. That's again, just to let us know that the motorcycle's live, the throttle's live, and it's ready to ride.
It's gonna show us how to take out the battery.
Like I said, this is our larger battery. Doing this with the smaller battery is much easier. This battery does weigh about 60 pounds, but real quick here, you just pop off your quick connectors. 1, 2, 3.
Oh,
I
that's
put my
easy.
cables over to the side, and I just lift up and straight out.
Oh, beautiful. Nice.
Right? And I can take the battery, set it down where I need to. If I live in an apartment, I live in New York City, and the bike can't make it upstairs, I can bring the battery into my house and charge it. If this battery, 60 pounds, is too unwieldy for you, we've got our smaller batteries, right? Our 1.8 kilowatt hour version. It's half the weight. You know what, and actually this is probably a good time to talk about kind of where we're going with battery technology.
Yeah.
You might notice that we don't call ourselves land motorcycles, we call ourselves land energy, right? And we see there really being a future for like battery ecosystems and making them multifunctional in the sense that you don't just take a battery like this with 5,000 kilowatt hours. Most of the cost of a product like an electric motorcycle or like a light electric vehicle is wrapped up in the battery. We're trying to figure out how we can use these batteries and put them in other vehicles, power other products, as well as possibly power your home. So V2, version 2 of our batteries that are gonna come out, actually I don't really have a timeline, but that we're working on now, are all gonna have 110 plugs. They're gonna have solar inverters so that you can plug your solar into them and charge them. What we do have today is an inverter you can put on the current battery that will allow you to do all of the things I talked about with the current battery. And another thing we just came out with is an onboard charger, so that you can have the charger that it all sits right here and you can just plug it in anytime you're out and about.
How long does it take to charge the larger battery?
That large battery takes about 5 hours to charge.
That's not bad.
It's not bad. It charges off a simple 110 plug. You do not have to worry about charging infrastructure. Our chargers are just, you put them in your backpack, you plug them in at the office. No waiting for a charger to open up or any of that. Super simple.
Yeah, I'm going to show you the power off the line this thing has on the highest mode. Man, thing just books it. Yeah.
It goes.
Man, yes it does. You got some just tremendous brakes.
Motorcycle style brakes on an e-moto. That's, 100 pounds less than the competition,
Man.
right? And how about that rear wheel on the takeoff? There's not a lot of electric motorcycles. There's not a lot of motorcycles this size that you can smoke the tire like that.
Yeah, do that one more time. That's
Let's
too,
do it.
too
Let's
good.
do it.
Like that smell.
Too much fun.
Oh yeah. Last thing I want to talk about is licensing, registration, things like that.
Sure. So these are a motorcycle. They're going to come with a title, just like as if you went in and bought a Toyota pickup or a new Tesla.
Okay.
You're going to walk right into your DMV. You're going to register them. It's going to be as easy as it can be, and they're going to give you a license plate. Now, where some of the intricacies come in are with our different ride modes. Because we limit the ride mode and the torque and the top speed in e-bike mode to 28 miles an hour, and like I said, virtually no torque.
Yeah.
We tell people you can use it as an e-bike in certain municipalities. You're gonna have to check the laws in your state. But for example, in Cleveland, when I'm at the HQ, these guys ride them on the bike paths, right? And
Okay.
it's totally fine. What we call our moped mode, mode 2, where the top speed's 38 and the torque is less than half the potential torque. In most states, you can ride them without a motorcycle endorsement. Okay, same as you could a moped or a small scooter. You do not need the motorcycle endorsement for mode 1 or mode 2. When you're in modes 3 and 4, which are our motorcycle modes, which have the top speeds to 70 miles an hour, that's when you're gonna need a motorcycle license or a motorcycle endorsement in all states. Pretty basic, but a lot of options that you really don't get with any other vehicles.
Yeah.
Right, which I think is, again, part of our story, part of what makes us special. You've got mode 4 for the Ripper, and you've got mode 1 for the brand new Rider. What are your initial thoughts? It seems like you're pretty impressed.
Yeah. It's super, just a fun vehicle. By far the fastest off the line of any electric vehicle that I've tried. Coming to this point, stepped up the speed a little bit and just super smooth at 50 miles an hour plus. It's just a very solid and nice feeling ride.
Well, we're really proud of it. I appreciate those kind words. It's my baby.
Yeah.
And so I'm proud to hear that sort of feedback.
Cool. Well, I appreciate you showing me Santa Cruz. I had an awesome time. This is a beautiful place.
Appreciate you coming by.
Yeah, thanks, man.